gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to episode 176 of the It's Obvious podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Preston Pugh, and I'm joined by my two best buds, Garrett Drake.
Hello, gentlemen. It's good to be back.
And Jacob Alka.
Good afternoon, guys.
How you guys
I missed
doing?
you, boys. I'm doing okay. I'm still a little sick, but I'm just glad to be back talking to you guys about video games, dude.
Yeah, man, you sound a million times better than the last time I talked to you.
Yeah, certainly. I think you had mentioned on last week's episode that I had gone to the doctor. I did, and I came down with a cross between bronchitis and laryngitis. Now, laryngitis is primarily when your vocal cords get inflamed, and that's exactly what had happened. But on top of that, I had a really gnarly chest cold, or I just had coughing fits. I had a coughing fit last night. I'm still not quite over it, but at least I can speak and finish a sentence, unlike last week. So, yeah, glad to be here, and I missed you terribly. It was such a refreshing sight to see Jacob walk in my door. That's beef and all this morning. It was just wonderful.
I was greeted by your Darth Vader slippers, and
Yeah.
I really liked those.
Yeah, I got them on right now. They're very comfortable. So.
Yeah, they look uncomfortable.
Yeah, you and I rolled out of bed less than half an hour ago, essentially.
Yeah, I slept in a little bit.
Yeah, I hit snooze one too many times, unfortunately, so we're kind of crunching. There is no video this week, as Preston obviously is remote, and I didn't have time to set it up. So regardless, we're going to have a good time talking about all kinds of fun stuff. But yeah, gents, good to be here.
Jacob, how are you?
Oh, I'm fantastic. It's been a good week. I'm a little bummed that I'm missing the Falcons game right now, but have no worries, guys. I'm recording it, so I will not miss it.
You don't? Are you? Okay, so let me ask you this: are you going to look at who won the game before you watch it?
Hell no.
Oh, you're not?
I turn off my ESPN notifications
Really?
just for that reason. Oh, yeah.
See, I would love to live in a world with sports where I could just record the game and then see if we won or not, so I know if I don't have to watch it or not.
Gotcha. Yeah. I just really enjoy watching those games in particular, so I don't really mind.
Yeah,
Plus, I
hear
can
it.
fast forward through the commercials. So.
That is true. Who are they playing today?
The Washington Redskins,
Mm.
the controversial mascot team.
I imagine that's quite the sacrifice for you, Jacob, choosing to record it and not watch it live like you typically
it's
do.
such a massive sacrifice.
I'm surprised because typically you are gung-ho about watching it live.
Yeah.
So what changed today? Is it just the Falcons' crappy record at the
No,
moment?
it's just I want to be here to do the podcast.
Falcons suck, dude. I don't care.
If
I'm
I could
just-
be here to do the podcast, I want to be. So
Did
A
you get to
quick
watch
side
the dogs last night or yesterday, Jacob?
I did. I watched a little bit of it. They absolutely crushed them. At least
Yeah.
early on.
It should have been a lot more.
Yeah, the dogs keep making me nervous every game. I'm glad we win, but they keep making me so nervous.
Yeah, a lot of fumbles, like bad snaps in the red zone that we didn't score on. Just mistakes like that. It could have been a lot worse. But glad to see we clinched the East for the second year in a row. So that is exciting.
Indeed, man. Indeed.
We'll see you in Atlanta.
Yep.
Whoever.
Get our absolute butts reamed by Alabama. But
Yeah.
More than likely.
hey, at least we have a shot. At least
We do have a shot. I would say we have an even better shot than we did last time we faced off against them.
I would not agree with that at all. We have
I
significantly
have
less
faith
talent.
in the Georgia Bulldogs.
We are
I think they have the spirit this time around. They may not have the fighting power, but I think they have the spirit.
The good thing about Georgia is that LSU game was good for us. It humbled us a little bit. It kind of straightened us out. It got us back to what we're good at, running the ball. We didn't do that at all during LSU. We tried to be. We had a completely different identity in that game. Wasn't good. So after that kind of straightened us out. And on the bright side, we are the youngest team in the SEC. We have like 70% freshmen and sophomores. So the guys we
That's
have
what I'm
out
saying,
there,
man. We got that young fighting spirit, boy.
yeah. So the future with our recruiting classes and our young team is definitely bright. But at least we got a shot this year to do something. But my expectations were to do what we have done and make it to Atlanta. So those are at least met. Anything else would be a bonus. So I'm very happy
That would be
about that.
such a fun game to go to this year if I didn't have to sell my soul to attend it.
Oh yeah,
That'd
for
be
sure.
Awesome. Dude, speaking of LSU, they had quite a hard time last night.
What was the score of that game?
Yep.
I didn't look.
I can't remember the final score, but it was
I
pretty
believe it
bad.
was 29-0.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 0.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yikes.
They got goose egged.
I saw
Yeah.
Alabama's quarterback get hurt early on, but then I stopped watching.
Yeah, he got hit in the nuts, but he was good
I
after
thought he
that.
got hit in the arm.
The court? No, he got hit in the nuts. And he's been dealing with a knee injury for a slight knee injury for a while, but he's good. I'm sure he'll be fine. But anyways, besides that, a lot of video game stuff happened this week for me personally. How about you, Jacob? How much Red Dead have you played? I know I haven't talked to you about that at all.
Well, we talked last podcast, but since then, nothing.
Oh yeah, since last podcast.
I played well, I don't want to say quite a bit because I've been kind of playing it in tandem with Call of Duty. I am I'm still in chapter 3, believe it or not. We moved down south. I don't want to give any spoilers in the story, but kind of working with two families right now, settling a dispute in terms of just two families having a feud against each other, and I'm really compelled with that story that's going on right now.
The Greys and the Braithwaites?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
I chose to go work with the Greys first, and I'm about to go over to the Braithwaites with, I think it's Jose and someone else. That's not important, though. What else? I caught a legendary fish. It was really fucking hard, dude. I was just out on it was one of like the tutorial missions, actually. I think it was with the guy that's what's his name? He's missing it. He's like everyone thinks he's a help me out, Garrett. The guy that was like accused of being in the rival gang. But he's in your gang now.
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
Kieran or something?
Yeah, it's like starts with a K. Yeah.
Kieran.
I was with him and I hooked this fish, and it took like 5 minutes of me trying to reel this thing in.
Reeling the big fish.
Yeah, I got it, dude. I forgot what lure I was using too, but I was using a lure. But knocked that one out. You know.
Did you put cheese on it?
No, it wasn't cheese. It was
a
like an actual lure.
Oh, okay. All I've used is cheese so far.
I think that cheese is best for like bass and bluegill, I think. But yeah, that's primarily what I've been doing.
So what was the reward
outfits
for getting that fish?
What was that?
Like, what do you get out of hooking that fish? Do you just sell it for a lot of money, or can you craft something out of it, or?
Yeah, I think you
a
sell
fish
it for
scale costume.
I think I got a lot of money. I might actually still have it in my inventory. I don't know. I'll have to check.
Okay.
Been dressing up Arthur a lot. Got some really gnarly outfits. Just been hunting a lot. Been killing a lot of deers, some boars. Let me tell you, we got a lot of pig, man. I tamed another horse. I've just been doing a lot of small things. Like, I have the problem of just running around in this game and not doing anything. Like, I'll see. No, I ran into the guy that got bit by the snake, and I sucked the venom out of his leg. That was nice. But yeah, I just love all the random encounters that you find just riding around the game. Those are the best moments, in my opinion. And also just when like rival gangs just stumble upon you out in the open, you have to fight them off. That's fun too. I usually just shoot them all. I don't run away.
Yeah,
because who would run away?
Yeah, you got to kick some ass, man. Yeah. It's the Wild West.
I got the scoped sniper. I'm not a huge fan of that weapon. I think it's a little hard to use. That might just be me. I really enjoy like the double pistol action, the double holster. Once I unlock that, but yeah, I'm just really enjoying the game. I'm kind of just rambling on right now, but it's up there with God of War in my opinion of game of the year. Like both these games are they're so immersive, and I think one does some things better than the other, and then vice versa, you know. So it's gonna be hard for me to actually, like, when it comes time here in probably about a month, right, having to decide which one of these games is going to be my game of the year, because honestly, I go back and forth right now. But I'll let you guys talk for a second because I'm just kind of rambling.
How fares your days in the Heartlands and beyond in Red Dead, Preston?
Oh, it's great. I can already come out and say I would be shocked if I didn't pick this as my game of the year. I would be shocked if by the end of this game I don't put this in like my top 5 favorite games of all time. I've never been so immersed in a game, I think, in my entire life. I I literally, when I sit down to play this game, I turn everything off. I silence my phone. I put on my headphones, and I just completely just lose myself into playing this game. I take my time with everything. I wouldn't say I'm like role playing with this game, but it's just like every time I start the game, I make sure I eat and my horse is fed and brushed and is looking good, and I talk to everybody in my camp, and I put, like you with the outfits, like I make sure every day I like get a change of clothes, and it's just like these things that I've never done in a game before. And the reason that I'm doing this is because, like I said, I am so immersed in this world. It's I think it's the most realistic open world that has ever been in a video game. So it makes me want to do these extra steps to make it, feel even more real. I'm about on chapter 6, I believe. From talking with Garrett, I think I'm fairly close to the end of the main story, and I can see, I believe, where the story is going, and something happens in the story that has never happened, as far as I can remember, in a game before. Something, and that's as far as I'll go, but something happens that makes you play different without giving something away. At least it's making me play different, and it's just a scenario that I've never had to deal with in a video game before. And it's just interesting, just kind of how it makes you play and stuff. I don't know. I can't really say anything else, because I don't want to give anything away. But yeah, I'm just I love all the characters. I just love the world, and like I said, I'm just having an absolute blast. Just riding around, doing these random encounters, hunting. Doing all these side missions, and it's like I'm still getting side missions that are they just keep coming and coming, and it's crazy how much content is in this game. Even besides the main story, it's just ridiculous. And I see like half of the map is, I still haven't even gone to like half of the map from what I've seen, so that's ridiculous. But yeah, I can't really say anything else more about the story because nobody needs to have that ruined for them. But the only criticism that I could slightly give is that I've messed with the controls a lot, and I'm a ton better. Like I'm not thinking about the controls at all when I'm playing now. Like I feel like I've gotten decent at the combat. I feel like I have a really good shot. But there are still some moments where you're in cover and you want to come out, but you run into it, or if you're like in a cramped space or something in combat, it might get a little clunky to some extent. But that's just a very small gripe with just everything else that this game just does, perfect in my opinion. It's just that's really all I have to say. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. It's an incredible game. So Garrett, nobody heard what you had to say, so I'm more interested into hearing some of your extended thoughts, having beat the game and everything.
What were you going to say, Jacob?
Oh, I was just going to talk about a side mission that I did. It's not that important.
Well, if you want to share, I'm all ears.
Oh, last night I went and did this side mission for this old plantation owner. And he lost his house. He lost everything that he owned. He when I found him, he was just like a drunk on the laying on a bench.
I talked about this side mission last week.
Oh, is that the one you were talking about?
Yeah.
Well, it was just funny because when I went to the house, there was a somber music playing. I was like, wow, this is really sad. This guy lost everything. But the more you explore the house and read the notes, the more you come to realize that he was a shitty person. He was a slave owner. He owned a plantation, or he worked on a plantation, right? And he was just a really shitty person. So you take his stuff back to him that he wanted you to go retrieve from his old house that got taken by the bank, and you just let him have it because he was a shitty person. And I just thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I remember that mission.
Yeah,
that was the first mission I saw that you could like decapitate somebody, because in that mission people come in to like fight you. The first fight is I just did a knife fight and stabbed this guy, and then I whipped out my shotgun and another guy ran at me with a knife and I just blew his head off like point blank range. And it completely took me off guard. Like I hadn't seen that happen before in the game, so that's mainly what I remember about that mission.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah. It's a good side mission. Yeah, I did review the game for COG Connected, and it's funny thing about the review is that I didn't really include everything I liked about the game in that review because I didn't want to ramble on for too long, and I already felt like 11 minutes was really long, so I left out a lot of like smaller details that weren't totally necessary for the review, but I'm sort of following that review up with one more feature I'm doing for COG. That'll be a video. It should have been out days ago, but I've been so sick that I can hardly speak half the time. But it's called 10 of My Favorite Things to Do in Red Dead, and it includes a little more in-depth thoughts on bounty hunting and actual hunting in the game, which I left out of the review entirely for the most part. A bunch of other like really funny stuff. I made it intentionally goofy, like a lot of out-of-the-box stuff, rather than just, I like interacting with the NPCs and everything. But so all my thoughts I had to leave out of the review will be included in that last feature I'm doing for the game before I move on. But I will say, I have yet to sit down and play the game for fun once, which really sucks. I've never not played it for something I'm doing for COG, which is totally fine because I'm super grateful for having had the opportunity to review it and everything. But I'm looking forward to being done with all the video stuff and starting from the beginning and actually taking my time with it, because that game literally made me sick. And by time many of you actually finish the game, imagine doing everything you've done in less than 10 days. Especially when I have work and school on top of all that. That's why I got so sick. I just didn't sleep for days on end while playing it. But I really do love it a lot. And originally my points of criticism were also the controls. I see a lot of people have complained about the controls. And for the first several hours, I also was very concerned about it. I was like, this is clunky as hell. And I mean, I went into it expecting that because I know how Rockstar games feel for the most part. But the aiming in particular, I was like, man, it literally, and I'm not the first to say this, I almost had written, I think it was an actual note in my notes I'd written before the review that it feels mandatory to use auto aim. I was like,
dude,
without
if
it,
you're
you can't
walking
aim.
And aiming at the same time, you're not going to hit shit.
Yeah, because I turned it off for a while. I was like, I'm going to try to be even more immersive where I want it to be hard to aim as if I'm in like a real firefight. And it was just impossible sometimes. So I manipulated the crap out of it to where I made my auto-aim window narrow. So for it to auto-aim, I have to be relatively aiming at someone. And also I have the aim assist very, very low. It's like a smidge on. So I'm almost aiming on my own, but at the same time, it's just slightly helping me out. And I found after playing, of course, 80 plus hours with those controls, I grew to not only enjoy the controls, but get very used to them. Now, I know it's never fun to be like, you have to get used to the controls in this game. But by the end of the game, I was so used to them that I could literally make Arthur do whatever I wanted him to at any time and it not feel clunky.
It only took 80 hours.
Yeah. It didn't literally take me that long.
I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah, but by the end, I was totally comfortable with the controls, so I just didn't even feel like saying that. I mean, I could have, in the review, I could have been like, the controls feel kind of weird at first, but I got used to them. But there's little things like that I left out of the review that I didn't think were totally necessary.
It's really strange how, like, I had the exact same experience like you. Like upon the first 2 or 3 hours, I was like, "This blows!" Like it's so like just what's the word I'm looking? It's just so like crap. I'm having a complete brain fart of the word that I'm thinking for. It's just it's distracting. I guess that's a good word. It's so distracting of how awful it is to aim and stuff. Like the first camp you go to in the tutorial down in the snow with the I'm forgetting the name of that gang, the O'Driscolls. Yeah, the O'Driscolls. It's like that entire sequence. I was scared. I was like, oh my gosh, like this isn't good, guys. Like this doesn't feel good at all. I'm like horrified for this game now. And I guess it was just through like you said, going through the settings and stuff, but there's just like a turning point where it just like, I think it was, there's a early mission in Strawberry where, and this isn't necessarily spoilers, but you break one of your guys out of prison and you kind of go through the town of Strawberry just killing everybody. And it was
That's kind of statement.
Yeah, and it's kind of during that mission that I think a switch flipped for me, and I was like, okay, this feels better. And from that point on, there was like, no looking back. Like you said, I didn't even think about it from that point on. It just felt fine. So it's just crazy how you can go into a game and it just be like, holy crap, like what have they done? And then a few hours in, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Because I even say I think on console by the end of the game, I felt like those are the best Rockstar shooting mechanics I've played out of all their games, even in comparison to GTA on console. But of course, as we know, any PC version of their games is going to feel infinitely better. So, of course, I look forward to what I believe to be the inevitable PC version of the game, and hopefully that's not as far off as I feel it might be.
Yeah, there's been rumors that it's supposed to launch like next fall.
Yeah, I mean that'd be awesome.
There's nothing behind those.
Yeah, because I mean I enjoy this game enough. What little I've been able to enjoy while doing video coverage for it is I know I would just totally replay it again on PC. But I'm looking forward to my school quarter being over to where I can sit down and all the coverage for it be over and I can just sit and take my leisurely time. I want to take 20 minutes to do the simplest task. Like sometimes I'd take time to, like Preston said, I'd wake up in the morning and I'd pour coffee, and it's all the little details. I mean, I have a whole list. Look how long this list is, Jacob, of details I wrote that caught my eye. And this isn't even half of them. Half the time I'd be so immersed I'd forget to write them down.
Yeah, every time you wake up at camp, you got to go talk to everyone.
Yeah, not only do I talk to everyone, but I always pour a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And one time, 2 times in particular, the coffee. I like just sipping the coffee in general because you physically have to like press when you sip it.
I wish you could sip more. There's not enough sips.
Yeah. I wish you could also smoke cigars longer.
Yeah.
Because you kind of just suck it down in one blow and then you throw it away. But 2 of the times that really impressed me was when I was pouring coffee and Charles happened to be walking by. Charles is one of my favorite characters by far. But Charles walks by, he's like, "Man, that coffee sure does smell good." And I was like, "Oh, that's amazing that he commented while passing by."
Yeah.
And another time, one thing I had noticed is that Abigail always has coffee in the morning. Abigail is John's wife. So in case anyone doesn't know. And she's always sipping coffee. And I noticed that for hours that she was always sipping coffee in the mornings. And one morning she happened to be standing by the fire where I was pouring coffee. So I pour it and I greet Abigail, and Arthur's like, "You sure do love your morning coffee, don't you, Abigail?" And she's like, "I can't live without it." And I thought that was so funny how I noticed that. And then Arthur actually comments on it when you greet her. So that was cool.
I love antagonizing Dutch. So I think
you antagonize him?
I love his like voice acting. Like I love
He's great.
Just listening to Dutch.
That's what's amazing is that even the smallest characters in the gang are in some way or another interesting to talk to. Like I think my favorite moments were, I think Horseshoe Overlook is my favorite camp location. One, because just how beautiful it is. And also...
Which one is that?
That's the first one you go to.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I like when everyone's together and you can just interact with everyone, because a lot of people start spreading out after a while. But I like being able to just talk to everyone in the morning and just it feel like there's still hope for the gang. Because obviously everyone going to this game who's played the first Red Dead knows that things aren't going to end very well. But I like the happier moments with the gang and just everyone. Even though you're a bunch of outlaws, it's just fun to celebrate with everyone. And really love that stuff. I'm trying to, because I don't want to repeat too much of the stuff you guys said, because of course I agree with a lot of you guys said it just being very immersive and everything. But
I mean, we don't have to linger on Red Dead too long. Just anything you really stood out to you.
The story, like I say in the review, if you've read or seen the video version of my review, I say that the story is going to remain with me forever. Essentially, it really is just that solid of a story, just the culmination of all the varied characters and their motivations and their personalities and how the story unfolds in many ways that was unexpected, because of course we have an idea of where a few of these character stories end with the first Red Dead and or at least the first Red Dead Redemption, but a lot of the other character stories you're not really sure how they're going to play out and how you're going to reach certain points, and the way all that played out was just so satisfying. And on top of that, the honor system baked into the game that can make it entirely different. I mean, of course, in a way, both endings are going to result in the same.
I thought there were 4 endings.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, but because that's the thing.
Hey,
the game
Garrett,
is.
Can I add? I want to be as least spoilery as possible, but it has in reference to the honor system. There is a. I shouldn't even ask you this because I'm sure it's common sense, but I know you told me that Arthur's dreams are different based on your morality.
Yeah.
Is there a conclusion with said dreams?
I don't know because I don't want to spoil it. I think we have no choice but just to wait like at least 2 more weeks before we do any spoiler talks.
Okay.
Because it really is like that long.
Should I just I guess just a yes or no. Should I be confused about the dreams as of where I am right now?
I don't think so. That hasn't quite. Even having finished the game, I still don't know if that really matters.
Okay, gotcha.
It's just like a thing, like, oh, he's dreaming.
Okay.
So.
I mean, but there is a common thing in his dream.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing like an honorable outlaw, you'll have similar dreams, whereas you play a dishonorable outlaw, you'll have different dreams, which I haven't played Evil yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the bad dreams look like.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, dude.
Gotcha.
Trying to think of some of the cool things I can talk about before we move on. Like, what do you guys want to hear from me that is different from what you guys have heard or seen or played?
So you're talking about how all the characters, like every single character that you learn about, like they have a satisfying ending. Like you figure out what happens to everyone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, a lot of awesome set piece moments in that game too.
Oh yeah,
that I don't want to spoil. Like there are some, especially at the end of the arc you're at, Jacob. The end of the Rhodes arc, it is so awesome. Yeah. It's one of the coolest missions in the game.
That's one thing that is for as many missions that like story missions that this game has. Like there, is a plethora. It's crazy to me how many missions you're doing something different, or there is a big set piece moment. Like there is rarely a story mission where you're just like, oh, go here and then just shoot these guys. It's like there's always some other mechanic, or if you are just going here to shoot these guys, it is like a crazy, like bombastic, like cinematic moment, that's happening. It's like they don't just waste story missions with just a lot of fluff. Like there's always something really like unique or cool happening. And I think that, especially like in the chapter that you're in, Jacob, that it really like starts like from that chapter that you're in onward, it really like ramps up with like story missions in terms of like scale and like things that you start to do, and just really doesn't slow down even to where I am right now. Yeah. So even the side missions and stuff too. Like there are some, of course, there are some side missions that, take a more like quieter things happen and stuff, but there are still a few side missions I've done that would seem to be like story missions in any other game, with just characters and just crazy
that's
things
a good
that
comment.
happen.
I think this game does have really good side missions. Almost, I don't want to say as good as The Witcher, but I think just overall, I think just its side missions are up there in terms of the quality of them. They're not just like, hey, go kill like 10 boars or something like a stupid MMO quest. Like these are actual like stories that have like little tiny mini stories that, they keep your attention enough to make you want to do them.
Even the bounties, like when I first saw bounties, I just was like, oh, this is just going to be like in Red Dead Redemption where, hey, there's a guy in this area, go and tie him up. But every single bounty, like the guy you're after had a personality. It was like an actual mission. There was
like a story behind it too.
Yeah, it wasn't just like a randomly generated, like, oh, go to this area, do this and bring this guy back type of mission. Like those don't exist in this game. There are no randomly generated missions in this game. Like you were talking about MMO missions. Literally every single mission, it was crafted and just has detail and like heart was put into all of them, and you can just tell. I know we talk about the crunch thing was the big debacle, but like I want to shake every person's hand that like contributed to this game, because you can just tell like so just how much care and like effort was put into every single detail of this game. Is just astonishing.
Yeah, it really is. I was going to say I couldn't say anything the first weekend or anything, but a lot of people in comment sections are saying the story's boring, and some people say like, I'm only a few hours in and the story's boring, nothing's happening, and you kind of have to tell people is that it's so long that you really don't get a sense of the overall story until you're at least halfway through the game.
Yeah. And I feel like if you don't appreciate the slow burn of this game, I don't think you're going to resonate with this game. Like
this is what you have to think of it as. You can't think of it as like in Spider-Man's case, where, I mean, Spider-Man's a fairly long game. It's like a 20+ hour story, but that's paced in a way like an action movie would be. Whereas you can't really think of this as like you're watching a movie. You have to think like you're watching 3 or 4 seasons of like a Western TV show is what it's like. Like each arc you go through, like each camp is like a season of a TV show. That's kind of how you have to look at it. And,
yeah, that was going to be a question I had. Like, is each like chapter in terms of like, you know, just how they're laid out in chapters, like, is there a different theme every time? Like, is it always like, it's the overall story, is it always different?
It's not really different. It's just it continually gets more and more interesting and progresses in a bunch of different ways. And like I said, a lot of ways you wouldn't really expect, even knowing how some of these character stories end. So I mean, I know it's easy for someone to say like, well, if it doesn't hook me the first few hours, what's the point? I mean, you kind of have to have a different mindset.
That's a good point. You know, that's what a game should catch you.
Yeah,
but the first few hours.
But the game, I don't think it should be the responsibility of every game to play out the same way. But I think another thing that's unbelievably or a huge accomplishment for Rockstar is not only the way the story progresses in such a slow manner, but also how gameplay continually builds upon itself. Like there was always the core mechanics, like, oh, you're going to shoot some guys and you're going to ride your horse and blah 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 blah. But whether it's stuff you're doing within missions themselves or even random encounters you have, continually build on each other. Like you know, there'll be a guy. There's a couple times I thought I was going to see the same thing happen twice. Where it was like a guy with his foot stuck in a bear trap, where they'll either say different things or they'll mention they got stuck in it a different way. Or sometimes a guy will pull a gun on me. I think a guy pulled a gun on me once whose foot was stuck in a bear trap. And I was trying to help him. He's like, go away, I don't want your help. He's like, I don't trust you, or something like that. So there's a couple random encounters. I know you guys were talking about a couple of them last week that are so amazing toward the end of the game that if I told you them, you'd probably be upset because I would consider them spoilers for how cool they are.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was one that absolutely blew my mind in Saint Denis. Like, it was unbelievable. I couldn't even believe it. Mm-hmm. So,
I got a quick question about where I am in the game. Like, I'm in the south, right? In chapter 3. Yeah. Where is the south in this game? Like, where
you're essentially in Louisiana.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So, I should have put 2 and 2 together when I saw the bayou, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, Jacob, you haven't even got to Saint Denis yet, dude. I
don't even know what that is.
That place blew my mind when I walked in there the first time. Like, absolutely blew my mind.
Yeah, it's funny because back in the first Red Dead with Blackwater, I was like, man, this is like a bustling little city here. I was like, this is amazing. And then you go to Saint Denis and it is just gargantuan in scope. Yeah,
Saint Denis is like GTA in Red Dead. That's what it felt like to me.
That's essentially what it is, yeah.
Oh, God.
And it's funny, at the very beginning of the game, I hopped onto the roof of a train for no reason, and I just stood on the roof of a train and rode it throughout the entire map. Because I don't even know why I did this, but I saw Saint Denis like 15 hours before I was even supposed to, so I just like walked around for a little bit. I was like, wow, I guess I'm going to wind up here at some point.
Yeah.
And then I left because I didn't really want to explore it too much before I got there, but it was funny. So that's an easy way to reveal all the map, is just to stand on the roof of a train or ride a train around the whole map and just put your controller down and walk away for a little bit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that's worth mentioning before we move on. I don't really want to talk about the random encounters because I think, honestly, those are spoilers because everyone's going to see them at some point, and some of them are mind-blowing. So one I think is really cool that you'll see that isn't that big of a spoiler. I was riding my horse through the forest one time, and there's a hunter crouched in a bush, and I walk up to him. He's like, leave me alone, man. He's like, you're going to scare him off. And I was like, what do you look? I greeted him. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm hunting a grizzly. I'm like, oh, okay. So out of nowhere, this grizzly just comes flying out of these trees and attacks the guy and eats him alive right in front of me. And of course, I'm panicking and shoot the hell out of the grizzly bear and kill him and skin him. But it's funny how the guy's like, I'm going to take care of this bastard. He's been stalking these woods for a while, and it just kills him instantly. So it's one thing to have the bear attack you with that crazy awesome animation, but then to watch it attack someone else like that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I can't think of anything else to say unless there's something specific you guys think I should say.
No.
Just a really awesome game.
We've talked about this a lot.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I can't wait to play it leisurely. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. I do hope one more thing about the slowness of the game. I do hope that if you have the same thoughts that we thought about the controls or, the slow beginning. Just, I know time is precious and there's so many games out there right now. So it's like, I don't know how I feel about telling somebody like, hey man, stick with this game that you might not be digging. But I do swear, once you get past the tutorial and the game opens up, it and like really shows, what the actual game is, not as, linear or as slow as the beginning of the game is, but just, at least, give it a few hours and take your time, with the game. Because it's absolutely incredible. And I don't know, I kind of like the point I made earlier. I do really think if you're not into, slow, like a slow burn of a game, I don't know if you would appreciate this game, because I don't think you can even blaze through this game if you wanted to, like story mode to story, story mission to story mission, because you know what I mean? I don't know if you can do that with this game. It pretty much, it's not even a choice for the most part to take it slow. It's the game kind of makes you take it slow, so you just kind of have to enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's travel time, right? Like, you can just go story mission to story mission, but it's going to take you, at least 5 minutes to get over to where you need to go, and then there's going to be some dialogue to start the mission, and then it's one of those slow burn games.
Yeah, and I've heard that being a complaint, that there's too much travel, and that there's fast travel is like something you unlock very later on in the game, depending on how fast you are, and even then it's like, it's pretty slow fast travel. Like, even when you get to your destination, unless you take a coach, or you can't take your coach back to your camp. You either have to take it, to the nearest city or nearest trading post, and then you can ride your horse from there. But I love that, because, like we were just talking about, these random encounters happen while you're, on your journey. It's just, the typical open world thing where you set your destination, and on your way there, you end up hunting or fishing or talking to people or doing a side mission or finding something, a random encounter, just things like that. That's what this game is. This game isn't meant to just run from, mission to mission. This game was made for you to live in it, so you have to be.
This game is a simulation.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So, and I apparently am my horse is malnourished and I'm underweight. So the past few days I'm like eating relentlessly, and I'm feeding my horse like every 5 seconds to try and get their weight up. So I thought I looked pretty fine. I always keep my cores good and my horse, fed. So that hurt my feelings that I'm like starving my horse. So
how do you know?
Little health thing will blink if they're not fed well or something. But that's the thing about horses. I noticed that the only time you need to feed them is when their health and stamina is down.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to if you push start and go to the player options, you can look at Arthur and the horse, and it will tell you if it's like underweight or like, because my horse, I always feed it, its cores are always up, but when I actually went to look at the profile of my horse, it said it was malnourished, so that made me feel like a bad owner. So like I said, I'm just feeding it like relentlessly now. So
I mean, there's nothing quite like having a horse you've bonded with for 20 hours and riding it off the side of a cliff by accident.
Oh yeah. So I bought this super expensive, like Arabian black horse out of Saint Denis. It was like $1,000, and I love that thing. The handling is elite, so I'm able to like turn on a dime with it, and it's super fast. And I love that. We haven't talked too much about the horses, but I love the bonding type of thing, and I love that Arthur expresses it as well. Like, every time I hop on the horse, he smacks it and like says like, "Oh, you're a good girl." Like, he's so nice to the horse. You can see through the story and a lot of things, Arthur has a soft spot for horses. Yeah. Like there's one side mission where this guy gets bucked off his horse, and you kind of have to go get it. And as I'm leading it back to the guy, Arthur's just like talking to him like, "Now you be good to your guy now. Like, I know you're a good girl." Like, he just, I really like that he has this soft spot for animals, it seems. So
Oh, before I forget this again, how many cutscenes have you guys been in? And the horse has been in the background just taking a shit.
Yeah, all the time. All the time.
Yeah, my horse
It's
is
happened at
always
least
pooping.
3 times to me. It's I just crack up.
Dude,
all the dynamic dumping.
Yeah.
I was in a cutscene on a train, and I like the camera pans out the window, and my horse is just like hauling ass behind the train, trying to keep up with me.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. But yeah, anything else you want to say about this Red Dead? Or
I was going to say, speaking of Red Dead, we are back in candle season here on the podcast, and we are rocking the barrel candle from the collector's edition at the moment. It smells amazing.
So I was wondering what that was. That is a candle.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
It's just a very masculine scent. It's like a culmination of like 7 different smells, but
Nice.
it's quite nice. We're not in video, obviously. You can't see it. We'll have it next week.
If you stuck your head in a barrel, this is what it would smell like.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I'd imagine so.
Excellent.
So,
Well,
I
guys,
don't think I have anything else to say about Red Dead. I think we're good.
nice. Well, very cool. I played about 5 hours of Fallout 76 this week.
Oh, the beta, right?
I did. I played in the beta. I played a little bit with my uncle. He had a lot of issues actually getting into the beta. I know the first day there was the big problem. I'm sure you heard about when it started and you actually clicked play out of the Bethesda launcher. It deleted all the files and you had to re-download it again. And of course, with everybody on Earth wanting to re-download the game, the download time was cut, significantly. It was way worse than it was, initially. So the first day I could not play the game because I had to literally re-download the game.
That's so funny.
Yeah, my uncle actually got into it, but it ran horrible. Like it was unplayable for him, and he has a good rig. He has a 1070 Ti. He still has an i5 CPU, which he's wanting to upgrade. But I mean, he has a very comparable rig. And it was running horrible for him. So he ended up updating his drivers and messing with settings, and it ended up running perfect for him, but he didn't have time that night to do so. But anyway, so I re-downloaded the game. Then on Wednesday, I believe the beta started up again, and that's when I was able to get in the entire length of time that it was open. So pretty much, with my limited time playing it, I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It's obviously... Whoa!
Forgive me.
What was that? But it was a lot of fun. It's pretty much what I thought it would be. It feels Fallouty, but more. It's Fallout, but with the game mechanics put more forward. And
Dude,
and
no NPCs, no play for me, bro.
For real. I mean, I'm not the thing that I'm having. That I said initially is like what I thought the first couple of hours playing it is that when I play a Fallout game, I'm not playing it for the combat or the gameplay necessarily.
Yeah.
I'm playing it to, get the story, to, make my character to live in this world that I love so much. So it is a little just different with the gameplay mechanics, pushed to the front in this game, where combat is extremely important. Building your camp is very important, and the story, as I've seen so far, isn't really, put ahead as it has been in the previous Bethesda games, especially. But even then, it is fun. It's definitely a different experience doing an event with other players in a Fallout game, like shooting protectrons and doing these massive events. It just feels very strange doing those things in a Fallout game. But I don't really have too much to say because, like I said, I didn't play a ton, but it definitely piqued my interest. I had fun. I can definitely see it being a blast playing through with people you actually know, because I did have a lot of fun playing with just random people, and I think the voice chat stuff is hilarious. Just like walking into a room and people either just making funny jokes or just yelling for like if anybody has a shotgun they can have, or just stuff like that is pretty funny. And surprisingly, I haven't really played with a bunch of dicks yet. There was like one guy that tried to kill me, but he just kept smacking me with like a stick, and I just stared at him and just ran off. Then these other 2 guys were attacking me, and I just dropped a shotgun that was about to like explode in one shot. The condition was so low, and when I dropped it, they freaked out because they had found a shotgun, which that allowed me to run away and them to leave me alone. But yeah, it's I'm trying to think of anything else to say. This from what I've seen in the story is the overseer, you're kind of following her around, going to, once she's got out of the vault, she goes to her high school, she goes to her old home, so you kind of follow her locations and kind of read up on just how she feels and what she's thinking and her history of, getting involved in Vault Tech. And while I'm doing that quest line, I'm doing the quest line for the Responders, I believe is what they're called, which is just a group that was, I believe, just helping after the bombs dropped. So that mission, that storyline kind of takes you through teaching you how to cook or boil water to make it drinkable, just stuff like that, kind of, or in the camp, the basics of the camp and stuff. So that's kind of like a tutorial that you're going through there. But that's pretty much all I think I have to say so far. I know the beta is going on right now as we speak, but I probably won't have any time to get to it. I probably won't have any time with the beta period, especially since I'm going out of town. So probably the next time I can get into it is when the game actually releases. But yeah, I'm excited. I look forward to seeing kind of what the end game of this stuff is, like the getting, good loot and just kind of how the nukes are involved. I'm just kind of interested to see, where the story goes and how all that stuff is involved. But from what I played so far, I had a good time, and I look forward to jumping in again, especially with you, Garrett.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm pretty excited to jump in myself. I'm supposedly, I think I may be reviewing it for COG coming up, so I don't know if it'll be a situation. When does the game launch again? Is it later this month?
It's November 16th.
Okay.
I think.
Because I think it may be one of those things, because you can only really review that game when everyone's playing it, I feel like.
Yeah. So the good thing is that the beta is the full game.
Right,
so it's almost like November 14th, my bad. So it's if you did get into it, it would be kind of like, a head start. Your progress carries over and everything.
Yeah, I might, but when is, because I'm so confused about the betas. Is it a situation where it's like, okay, the PC beta is open, okay, now it's closed, okay, now it's open again? Is that how it works?
Yes, that is how it works.
Okay, when does it start again?
It's going on right now, and I believe it has like 2 or 3 more times. I'm bringing it up right now. I can tell you. So it's on today, November 4th, from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m., which I believe today is November 4th. Yeah,
it is.
So it starts at 2 and it ends at 9 today. And I know there's one more day. I'm looking at it. As far as I'm looking right now, I think today's the last day.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know when I'll be able to start that because I'm still so busy. I'm in final seasons of school too. My last 2 weeks starting Tuesday. So I'm slammed.
Yeah, get wrecked.
But we're gonna have some cool YouTube content this holiday season because I'm totally off school. I have a lot more time to invest in just some fun videos. I want to do some stuff for Fallout, of course. Some stuff for Blackout.
The one
I want to do a little more
thing...
Hunt Showdown. I want to play that new map.
The one Fallout thing that is a little weird, which is, it's not that big of a deal. It's typically the vaults at the beginning of the game, minus New Vegas, are interesting. Like, escaping Vault 11 in Fallout 3. Hang on, that is Vault 11, right?
I think it's Vault. Is it? Dude, I can't remember.
Crap. Dude, that's really bad. I should know Fallout 3's Vault 101.
Is it it's 101.
It's Vault 101. Yeah, Vault 101. My bad. Fallout 4.
Yeah, 111 is Fallout 4.
Fallout 4. Yeah, my bad. So anyways, going through Vault 101 and Fallout 3 and going into the vault and out of the vault in Fallout 4 was like a ordeal. In 76, it is nothing, dude. Like, you make your character, you slap on your Pip-Boy, and you just walk.
Like, all right, good luck out there.
Yeah, you literally just walk outside. There's nothing happens. Even like the reveal of exiting the vault is nothing at all. So that was just felt super different from a normal Fallout game. But yeah. And it's beta too, like the combat feels wonky, like especially using a hunting rifle, dude, like it's awful. Like when you aim down, when he pull like reloads the hunting rifle, your movement slows down so much, and like you can't aim down sights immediately after. Like it's definitely a bug. Like there are things like that are just super wonky that they'll get fixed. It's a beta, but and the hit detection's a little wonky too. It's nobody plays Fallout for the combat, exactly like what I just said, so it doesn't feel like a Destiny or anything. So hopefully they can kind of dial that in, because if you're going to be shooting as much crap as you will be in this game, I hope they can kind of dial that in and make it feel a little bit better. But Jacob, do you have any interest in this game at all?
Zero.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
I was going to say,
I'm just going to be honest.
What I'm looking most forward to is just having a base built and continually building upon an established base, and exploring the world with you and just other people we know, and just finding secrets and discoveries and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm most looking forward to.
When I think about this game, like how long is this going to be ongoing? Like I still don't understand what kind of game this is. Like, because it's an online Fallout game, I understand that, but like, are people just expected to be playing this like every day? Like, is it one of those games where you always come back to it?
There are daily quests and stuff.
Okay, so it has like a daily system or a weekly system.
It does.
Okay,
and they said that they're going to be.
What does that look like?
I didn't see there. I don't believe there were any daily quests when I started up, but I'm assuming it would just be like kill this many things or find this many things. I mean, it felt very MMO-ish, like especially with the events. Like an event will pop up on the map, and you can either fast travel there or just meet up with other people. And it's like protect this Protectron as he goes from building to building, and or protect these things or kill this wave of people. Like it's it feels very much like Destiny like. Yeah. And you get rewards and guns based off of that, but there's the typical Fallout problem where you're constantly like overcumbered. Yeah. So that's probably like something that you need to invest in early on, is to make your weight limit higher. But you can build there is a system with these stashes that are actually throughout the entire map where you can stash your things, and you can also build a stash at your camp to put all your junk and materials into. Okay. And then there is the mechanic that I'm very thankful is back, that was missing in Fallout 4, is the condition of your armor and your weapons, that you're constantly having to loot and get these junk materials to break down into other materials that you can use to repair your guns and your armor. So that's kind of forces you, kind of like Breath of the Wild, like to experiment with some weapons that you typically wouldn't, because your favorite ones are breaking down or need to be repaired. Yeah. So I do like that. But kind of like you, I know they're going to be updating this game, but I don't know what the point of the game is yet.
Yeah, that's been my biggest problem. Is I don't understand what I'm doing.
I can't answer your question because I don't know either. It's like I don't know. I know in-game revolves nuking areas, and that makes these areas drop better loot and stuff. But let's say I get said better loot. What is my goal at that point? Like, I don't think there's raids, or maybe there are, like I don't know, like there has to be something like that
because at a point you're gonna run out of places to go explore, right?
Yeah,
so there's gonna have to be a reason to go back there.
I mean, as of now, the goal is you're following the storyline, and you're just building your camp, and you're getting better stuff. So like that's the goal. What is the end goal? I have no clue. I guess it's to nuke stuff.
Yeah. So I'm sure we'll find out once the game's out.
I mean, that's intriguing to me, is finding out like what am I doing? How does this end? So that's actually interesting to me. Like I want to find that out.
Yeah. How's the perk system?
I actually like it. It's the cards are cool. It's every time. I'm not gonna like explain it because it is fairly in depth, but I have a perk equipped right now, like the Lone Wanderer perk, where I gain more experience playing by myself. But if you invest in Charisma, there are perk cards that give you more experience for playing with other people. I have one where like you find more, like the Scavenger, we find more ammo. It's typical Fallout stuff, but with the Charisma perks, those investing in those help your group or your team when you're partnering up. So that's kind of the point of that skill tree. Perception, I think, heavily has to do with VATs, and I used VATS actually a decent amount. My favorite weapon in the beta was the pump shotgun, and VATS makes it really easy that if you just get like super close to somebody and activate VATS, it's just like an automatic hit if you're, point blank with them. But besides that, I really don't know how handy VATS is going to be unless you're just right up next to somebody. So I think perception has a lot to do with that. But yes, it's cool that you can switch out your cards at any time. That's probably the coolest thing to do with the perks, is that per play style you can switch what you want to do.
And how many can you have on at one time?
It depends on how many points you have in said category. Like if you have 3 points in your luck, you can have up to 3 points, and that can either be 3 1-level cards, a 1-level card, and a 2-level card, if you know what I mean. So
yeah, they have different values.
Yeah. So I liked it. I thought it was a pretty cool system. So no complaints with that.
Do you have any complaints about Jacob and I?
Several, but I don't think we have too much time for me to really go on about that.
That's a good point.
I'll talk about it later. The only other thing I played this week was about 20 minutes of Spider-Man, and I've yet to start.
Put it down.
Yeah, I've yet to start the Heist DLC, but I will say I hadn't really forgotten, but I was just reminded of just how awesome the traversal is in that game. I just swung around for 20 minutes. It was awesome. Loved it so much, and I'm even more. I started New Game Plus last night too, when I got home from work, and played the opening mission against Kingpin, and I wore the Scarlet Spider outfit. I love how I can just change my costumes and cutscenes now, just have fun with it for my second playthrough. But I'm gonna go back and download the DLC and play on my original playthrough through that. But also, I'm just gonna nick away at New Game Plus whenever I feel like just playing through that game, because I love that story so much, and I just forgot how gorgeous the animations and cutscenes are, and like the facial animations and everything. So the game really is just so good. And I love jumping back to it, especially after playing 80 plus hours of Red Dead, and it's very slow in many ways, where you jump back into Spider-Man, just everything's super fast paced and very fluid.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Again, I don't get even me and you were talking about the COG review of the Heist DLC, and I've just seen other takes on it. I don't understand that a little bit of hate towards the DLC. It's I thought it was just so good, and I was actually surprised by how much I enjoyed it. And then I see so many opinions saying they were disappointed in it, and I don't understand.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. All the GIFs and little snippets of cutscenes I've seen look awesome.
Yeah, Black Cat is freaking awesome. Like such a good character.
Stoked, dude.
Yeah. Jacob, are you gonna play that?
Yeah. Not sure when, but I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah, if you enjoyed the game at all, you definitely owe it to yourself to go through that DLC. And what can I can assume the rest is going to be equally as good as it being like a 3-part of the storyline.
I'll probably play it right after Red Dead before I start Odyssey, more than likely.
Oh, I forgot about Odyssey.
Yeah, I got to get back into that myself.
I definitely.
At this point, I didn't play that much of Odyssey. I might as well just start over on PC when I get a chance.
Yeah, play it on PC.
Yeah. Because I only played about 10 hours or so, and I don't remember much of what I did. I mean, I remember most of the story beats, but I wouldn't be opposed to starting over on PC.
You just got that new motherboard and graphics card.
Yeah, might as well take advantage of it.
For sure.
What was the thing I was going to say about Spider-Man? It was important. I like the updates they made with the New Game Plus update, where you can access photo mode easier with the D-pad and everything. And I think they made a couple other changes. But one thing that still annoys me that I can't imagine why they haven't implemented yet is that you still can't turn off the HUD while you swing around. It's still not an option.
It's a terrible game.
I have no idea why they haven't changed that yet. It seems like such a simple thing to be able to remove that, but it's still there. So
you can do it in Red Dead, right?
You can, yeah. You can access it and turn it off with like the click of a button, essentially. So I really feel like Spider-Man would benefit from that. I mean, it's not a make it or break it situation, but there's like a cool, like I told you, I want to do that cinematic web swinging video, and that can be way more effective and visually satisfying with the HUD turned off. So I'm waiting to do that video until they give us that option. I don't know why that hasn't been implemented yet.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, so I hate Spider-Man now because of that.
Me too.
So it's a really, really bad game. Anyway, I think pretty sure that's all I played this week. That's all I had time for, is nicking away at some more Red Dead and and Spider-Man.
I just play more Blackout. It's so fun.
I'm very excited to get back into that.
I'm playing Blackout like 140 frames at ultra settings.
Nice.
Holy shit, dude! It plays so much better than my old computer.
I need to invest in that new monitor soon.
Yeah, you guys need to play it. It is so much fun.
Yeah, I was going to say you guys can count on Blackout and some Fallout stuff coming soon to our YouTube channel. It should be pretty good when we can actually sit down and play stuff together.
I need to buy Blackout. Still haven't even got it yet.
It's not going anywhere.
You're right.
You take your time with Red Dead.
Oh, I can assure you I will.
But we should probably get into the news before we run out of time.
Yeah, we got about half an hour left.
All right, sounds good. Well, you just want to say, hey man, what's the news?
Yeah, dude.
What's the news, dude?
Okay, the full PlayStation Classic lineup has been announced. I was going to read. I know this is all kind of old news at this point. I wanted to hear your thoughts on this. So, full lineup is Battle Arena Toshinden, Cool Borders 2, Destruction Derby, Final Fantasy VII, Grand Theft Auto, Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Metal Gear Solid, Mr. Driller, Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey, Rayman, Resident Evil Director's Cut, Revelations Persona, Ridge Racer Type 4, Ridge Racer, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, Siphon Filter, Tekken 3, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, Twisted Metal, and Wild Arms.
Rainbow Six Siege?
Yeah, the ones that stick out to me are Tekken 3, Twisted Metal, Siphon Filter, Resident Evil Director's Cut. I didn't finish Resident Evil on PS4 when the remaster came out, so that's kind of cool. The original Grand Theft Auto top down might be kind of cool, I guess.
Persona.
Yeah, Persona.
I would be very interested in playing the first Persona.
But yeah, I think playing the original Twisted Metal would be cool. I never actually played the original.
Yeah.
So I feel like Twisted Metal could really use a reboot for car fans on PlayStation. I feel like that'd be kind of cool. Like, I feel like it might even be more successful if they do it right than Gran Turismo.
They tried in PS3 era.
Yeah.
And it didn't pan out too well.
I guess the closest thing we've got to a Twisted Metal reboot was the Mad Max game that came out.
Yeah.
That's pretty much Twisted Metal in an open world. So, but
I look forward to hacking this thing and getting Legend of I always forget the name. Legend of Legalia, I believe that's the name on there.
You know that RPG you've talked about that you liked?
Yeah, that's like nostalgic, like overload. If I could get that thing on there.
Yeah, I think I'd like to pick this up. I think it'd be kind of cool just to have.
Yeah,
as a commodity
I already have
item.
I have it pre-ordered. So
really, you guys are getting this?
I'm getting it.
I will. It's $100, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Did I tell you I hacked my SNES Classic?
No.
Yeah, I hacked that, and I have so many games on it. Me and my mom played like Dr. Mario / Tetris for like 2 hours the other day, which was super nostalgic. We used to play that together all the time, way back in the day on Super Nintendo. So that was primarily the main reason I hacked it, was to get that game on there. But
nice.
Yeah, super easy to do so. Just download a little program, plug it in, and it just takes care of business for you. So I'm assuming at some point it should be the kind of the same thing with PlayStation.
Yeah, this classic system interests me much less than the Nintendo ones, honestly. I have zero interest in picking this one up. If I was to get one, it would be like the SNES, if I could find it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm not too like into playing like old classic games. That's never really been my forte. Yeah. So.
I'm not either. It's purely just the nostalgia itch. Like I have so many fond memories of PS1, and I will never, like, I would bet everything I own that I will even come close to beating any of the games on this thing. But I look forward to just
to have them to nick away at it when you're bored and like, I really feel like playing Metal Gear Solid for 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, and they're good like party systems too. Like you have a bunch of people over, like, oh, you guys want to play like old, classic Mario? It's like, hell yeah, let's boot it
up. Yeah.
I am genuinely interested in playing that first Persona though. Like I am. I would definitely like to give that a try.
Yeah, I'd like to hear some thoughts on it if you ever do.
Yeah,
I remember playing Tekken 3 a crap ton back in the day, so I look forward to playing that some more too. My sister and I played a lot of the Tekkens. I think Tekken 3 and onward we played up until Tekken Tag. I think is the last one.
Yeah, your sister broke that disc in half, didn't she? Or something
I remember
like
she
that?
broke Tekken Tag. I can't remember how she did it, but she broke it in half, and I was really bummed out about that.
Yeah.
So. But
sore loser.
I was going to say, speaking of Mario, I was going to ask your thoughts on the Nintendo Direct for Smash Bros.
Who, me?
Yeah.
dude.
The
Piranha
spirit
Plant
thing
hype,
is,
dude.
the spirit is so stupid. That whole system I do not like at all.
I'm going to be honest. I haven't seen this direct. I just saw that they announced the Piranha Plant as a fighter.
Yeah.
And I saw some weird cutscene of like a
fine,
glove
you know.
flying around, vanquishing everyone.
Yeah, it's like the story
Yeah, that's
mode.
the World of Light mode.
I think that
mode
actually
looks
looks cool.
interesting to me.
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't know anything else that's going on. You have to bring me up to speed.
Until they announced that at the end of the direct, I was like, "This is the worst direct ever."
Okay.
Because they talked about like this new thing called the spirit system,
Mm-hmm.
and basically it's just it's like tiers of like abilities you can give to your fighters,
Mm-hmm.
and it just seemed like a lot of fluff that wasn't really necessary at all for the game, because the game already has enough complexity in itself, having like how many characters are
It's
there
like
now?
a billion, dude. It's
Yeah,
so
that's
many.
enough already. But they're at like, I don't know if there's like a separate mode for spirits. I was driving and listening while I was listening while this direct was going on.
So
I
you're
got to
basically
pick up
listening to
everything.
it like a podcast, essentially.
Basically, yeah. I would like look down at my phone every once
Yeah,
in a while.
the spirit
Maybe
stuff
Preston
is
knows
all
better.
separately, or is all separate for sure.
Yeah, it just seems like something I do not care about in the slightest, and I don't know if anyone else does either, according to the internet.
Yeah,
But they announced 2 new fighters. They announced it's Incineroar. He's a fire starter Pokemon, fully evolved, and then it was also who else? Preston.
Kin.
Yeah, Kin from Street Fighter.
Kendall, the Barbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kin
Okay.
from Barbie.
Which he's an Echo Fighter of Ryu. Just was, I think, slightly different moves, and he moves faster.
Yeah.
So the
I
way they
think
were
he shares
making
a lot
him
of
out
the
to
same
be, I
abilities.
was like, well, why would I ever play as Ryu? It's like all these things y'all are showing me makes him better than Ryu.
Yeah, it seemed like he was just faster.
Yeah.
Than Ryu. He probably just hits lighter. I don't know. But yeah, there wasn't like, I wasn't really too impressed with the direct. I'm still gonna get smashed like day one. I'm super excited for the game, but it just seemed like a lot of nonsense in the direct that I didn't really care about. So you didn't really miss much.
That's good.
Who's gonna be your first fighter, Garrett? Who are you most excited for?
I don't know. I haven't really looked at the full lineup.
Well, it's any character they've ever had.
Yeah, no, I can't remember all of them though. I've never been like a diehard Smash fan.
Gotcha.
I
You've never like preferred just one character over.
Maybe
the
I'll just
others?
roll. Is Mega Man back in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just roll as Mega Man.
Gotcha.
That works.
I'm always day one Fox. I gotta be.
Okay.
Breath of the Wild Link for show.
Yeah, that's a
Gotta be
really
my
cool
man.
inclusion. A lot. They have like every Link in there, don't they?
Yeah, Young Link, Toon Link.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's very cool. And very cool, Kanye. I'm gonna have to pry my Switch out of my girlfriend's hands to play Smash Bros. She is all into Stardew Valley.
Still playing Stardew.
Dude, you should see her farm on Stardew. She loves games like that. That's all she really did in Fallout 2 was explore and build her camp up. So she loves just making stuff like that.
Dude,
And,
get her just. She knows there's like mobile games like that where you can take care of farms and stuff.
I was gonna say,
Give her Animal
Actually,
Crossing.
Stardew is going on mobile. I'm pretty sure I read that.
nice.
Yeah, so just get her to download that. Get your Switch back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish there was
And
like
she'd lose all her progress.
yeah, I wish there was a way you could transfer your farms to different things because I might just have to buy a new Switch and
Just
just
buy a
let
new
her have
Switch.
that one. I might do that.
Well, there's cloud saves.
Yeah.
Can you transfer a save to a cloud?
That's what I'm wondering because if I can, I'll just do that because I was going to get her a Switch anyway for Christmas or something if I could afford it. But because her farm's just tied to my Switch, and I don't blame her for not wanting to give it up because it is glorious. I'm like, you have invested so much time and effort into this farm. It's like one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I'd hate to take that away from her. So
Don't do it, you bastard.
I'd be upset, for example, if I built this, like the stuff I built in Fallout that I was very passionate about, which I can't wait to do in Fallout 76. I made some unbelievable fortresses in Fallout 4, and I'd be bummed if someone's like, hey, man, I got to take my copy back, so say goodbye to all the work you've put into all that. I'd be really upset.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Stardew's much more of a grind than Fallout 2, so it'd be quite the loss.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, what do you guys think of that Witcher screen test with Henry Cavill?
I think he looks fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think the wig looks a little fake, obviously, but I wasn't expecting anything different. I think people are just complaining because
He looks like Legolas.
yeah. I mean, I think he looks fine. I'm gonna need to see more before I make any judgments.
Yeah. I have a couple things to say about this. One, Henry Cavill, I think there's a lot of potential with Henry Cavill. I really do think he could really knock this role out of the park. Now, that being said, I don't know anything about Geralt other than what I've seen in The Witcher 3. Now, I've played a chunk of Witcher 2, and I've seen the rest of Witcher 2 on YouTube. So video game Geralt, I'm pretty familiar with, but as far as book Geralt's concerned, which we've all read and seen that it's primarily based off of the books, this TV shows, that I don't know him all too well. So his appearance, I'm not totally concerned with, because they said, again, this is based off the book version of Geralt. But there are a couple of things that I do think just genuinely, as far as visually pleasing it could be, that I think he would look cool. A lot of the same criticisms people are making. You can tell he has the yellow contacts in, but they don't look like cat eyes. I think brighter yellow contacts with the actual cat irises would look cooler. Even though they say Geralt hates a beard in the books, apparently, I think just overall Henry Cavill looks awesome with a beard. Like, he looks awesome in Mission Impossible, and he looks awesome in the leaked set photos of him with a beard. I think there's a beard.
They have to dye his beard white, though, right?
Yeah, he has a beard at the beginning. That's true. I didn't think about that. That's challenging. He has a beard at the beginning of Man of Steel, and he looks awesome with that beard. So imagine with that beard and his white hair. I also think his hair would look cooler if it's just a bit shorter. I think that's why he looks so much like Legolas, is because his hair's so long. Yeah. So if he had the beard and give him the scars, I'm essentially describing video game Geralt. I think that version of Geralt just looks awesome, especially from Witcher 3 with the beard. But it's not.
I'm hoping they just threw this little video out just to test the waters, see what people thought about it.
It does say screen test, but again, even though, a lot of screen tests, typically that's what you're going to get usually, but they may change it. I don't know. But that's the thing about the show that I'm really surprised about, is how quickly they're moving forward. I could have sworn they announced it, and not that long after they had it essentially written, and then they had it cast, and now they're already shooting.
Yeah. It's like some projects you see, like it takes years just to write it.
Right.
And this one is just
I'm hoping it isn't rushed to a point where the show suffers because of that. Because
I don't know.
Maybe they're overly I don't know if this is a bad thing, if they're just overly confident with what they have with their cast and the writing, that they're just able to move that quickly forward with it.
I have to believe that,
because from the sounds of it sounds like we may get it like this time next year. It'll launch on Netflix. Which, speaking of Netflix, dude, Daredevil season 3 I just finished last night. It was phenomenal.
I was going to start that, but I started Punisher instead. Yeah. Is Punisher good?
Oh, yeah, Punisher's pretty good. I don't like it as much as Daredevil, but yeah, Punisher was pretty good.
I wanted to had watched all of the episodes, all of the Marvel shows before Daredevil 3. So yeah, I'm doing Punisher, then I'll start Daredevil 3.
And as you've heard, they've canned Iron Fist and Luke Cage.
Yeah. I'm bummed about Luke Cage.
I liked Luke Cage a lot. I didn't see season 2. I don't know if I'm going to watch it either, because a lot of people reviewed it poorly.
I like him as Luke Cage.
Me too.
I think
he was solid.
A good actor.
Daredevil season 3, man, this is the first time the Marvel TV shows on Netflix have actually utilized all the time they have with 13 episodes. Whereas each episode of the show never wasted its time telling the story. There aren't any fluff episodes that are just kind of there just to be there. Every single episode mattered and had meaning, and all the writing just throughout, and the pacing was so good, and all the characters, and Kingpin especially was just awesome.
I literally have 4 different people that I know telling me that I need to watch Daredevil season 3.
Yeah. So, and even Bullseye's performance, I can't remember that actor's name, is awesome too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I love Daredevil's just black costume where he has the bandana over his face. I think that just looks so much. I love the red costume too, but I think just the black looks just more intense and intimidating. And I like how the fact he's a blind guy, he literally has a bandana covering half his face, and I feel like to a bad guy that's intimidating. Like, how's this guy even seeing me and doing all this stuff? So I think that costume looks cool, and he has that throughout the entire season, which is awesome.
Oh, before I forget, I watched season 2 of Castlevania.
Yeah, I need to get into that.
It is so good.
That's what I'm starting next.
It's so good.
Yeah, I'm going to start that tonight.
If you guys haven't watched that, anyone listening, you guys check it out. I love the art style of the show. It's kind of like a retelling of, I think it's the second Castlevania. I don't want to misspeak. Someone correct me in the comments.
I don't know.
But yeah, it's just the second season in particular is really good. Yeah. And it looks, and they've already renewed it for another season already, and it just came out. So
yeah, I've been eagerly awaiting starting that. So
dude,
very excited.
I love it.
I love season 1 too, so I'm stoked that it's doing well.
Yeah, season 1 was like criminally short.
Right. It was. Yeah. So this is longer. How many episodes?
I think it's
8.
8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's good though.
Yeah.
They cover a lot of ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Henry Cavill could look cooler, but I'm not totally opposed to the look they're going for. So I'm open to it, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
But yeah. You have anything to add to that, Preston?
No. I'm so far behind on so many shows, it's not even funny.
I understand. Jacob, let's talk about BlizzCon.
Okay.
Quite a bit happened at BlizzCon.
Yeah, I did. Oh, actually, I feel like not a lot happened. And
but when I say a lot is there's an unexpected turn of events, I should say. But
I'm not surprised.
Maybe not totally unexpected, but I guess to the extent of the reaction.
I think Blizzard might be surprised a little bit.
Yeah, I think I've actually read, I think it was a Kotaku article, I said they were not expecting that much of a backlash to Diablo Immortal. We'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about the good news first.
Sure.
Is her name Anne, the new character?
Anne?
What's her name?
No, it's Ash.
Okay, I knew it was with an A.
Yeah.
That's the same amount of letters, too.
Yeah.
Anne and
Have
Ash.
you seen the new cinematic that they...
Not yet. I heard it was awesome.
Yeah, it's basically, it takes place on Route 66. It's McCree, and he's basically trying to retrieve, what's her name? Athena.
Okay.
Which is basically the announcer.
Athena.
She's the announcer within all the games in Overwatch.
Yeah.
Like you hear her voice. But she's like this robot. She's like in this capsule or something, and she has to be woken up for some reason because they need her. But he's retrieving Athena, and this rival gang led by Ash and her companion Bob is trying to
that big like ape robot, right?
Yeah, it looks like Reinhardt basically. But they're trying to rob and take the stash. They break the train down, and what ends up happening is McCree beats Ash in the cinematic, but they announce Ash after that, and basically she's an outlaw rival to McCree. She has I forgot do you know what the gun's called? Like
it's like a
long
repeater.
Yeah,
it's like a like the Lancaster repeater from Red Dead, essentially.
Yeah, but it's like a long range weapon. It does good amounts of damage. It's not like a sniper.
I think
rifle,
I saw some of the gameplay. I think her character looks awesome to play as.
Apparently, she's gonna have a lot of cool skins coming out too, and including Bob. But we'll get to that in a second. She has like dynamite that she throws, kind of like a grenade.
You can shoot it out of the air too.
Yes, you can. She has a shotgun like shift ability where you can literally like point it at the ground and shoot yourself up into the air.
Yeah, knock enemies back too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It has a lot of different uses. Her gun is what we just said. Her ultimate is Bob, which is her like robot companion. The dude, like I think he just charges forward, and I think he's AI controlled.
I don't like knock people around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, it's like a enraged Winston. He just knocks everyone around. But he can also be targeted by like enemy abilities. Like an Anna could put him to sleep too.
Okay.
So it's cool in that way.
Yeah.
It just seems like a really cool character. I don't think he or she is on the PTR yet, but as soon as they are, definitely want to check it out.
Yeah, I want to dabble in some more Overwatch because I told you when you had played. It was a while ago now, but you, me, Harley, and a couple other people joining. That was just so much fun, and I think Ash looks awesome to play.
I haven't played Overwatch on my new PC yet. I definitely need to. I bet it looks great.
Yeah. So I look forward to that. That's cool.
But what else you got?
Anything else other than Diablo Immortal that happened at BlizzCon?
They talked a little bit about the next content updates in WoW.
Are they remastering like
too much about
Warcraft 3 or something? Is that what I saw?
Yeah, they are doing that. They're I think it's called like it's called something weird, but it's not just like called Warcraft 3 remastered. But yeah, they're basically remastering Warcraft 3, which is cool. A lot of people love that game.
Yeah.
Including me. I enjoyed it a lot back in the day. The WoW Classic demo, I played that yesterday. It feels I forgot how different WoW Classic felt. Holy shit. Like, if you take on more than one enemy at a time, you better be ready to manage your cooldowns well, or you're going to die. Because I died, like, the first time I tried to take on 3 enemies. Because I was like, oh, I'm just going to play WoW. I'm just going to run in and kill everything. Because that's usually what I do. Because I'm
noob.
Yeah, some WoW player, you are phony.
Yeah, but I got wrecked. And then I forgot, like, the graveyards were so poorly placed in Classic WoW. Like, there's probably one in the zone that they put you in. So I had to run, like, 45 seconds to a minute to go retrieve my dead body. It was the worst. But I just did a couple quests and I jumped off because I'm excited for Classic WoW, but I don't think I'm really going to invest a lot of time into it because it's just a big commitment to put time into an old school MMO, like, honestly. But I know a lot of people are really excited for the game. So, and it was just a small little snippet of a demo. It just gave you one zone, and I think you were level 15 to start out, and they just give you a few quests. But it was nice just seeing how it played out and how it felt. Other things that happened, I think they announced a new hero in Heroes of the Storm. I'm not really interested in that. I don't think they said anything about StarCraft. and there's like a new expansion for Hearthstone. But the big news, what they ended the show with, was Diablo Immortal, and that was met with some interesting, criticism.
Yeah,
a lot of people. I don't think it was Blizzard's fault that a lot of people were expecting like a Diablo 4 announcement in some way, because wasn't there like a lot of like leaks or something, or media outlets saying that there's rumors of a new Diablo 4?
Yeah, I think even Blizzard themselves said they have multiple Diablo projects.
They have
in the
multiple
works.
Diablo projects in the works right now. I think one is Diablo 4. I think another might be a movie or a show. But the one they announced this weekend or last weekend was Diablo Immortal. It is a mobile Diablo game. Mm-hmm. I think personally, I'm going against the controversy. I think it looks pretty cool.
I think it looks kind of cool too. I'm definitely going to try it.
Yeah, it's definitely not Diablo 4. I mean, it runs and plays like Diablo.
It's just a reskin of that NetEase game, dude. That's all it is.
I mean,
I don't know because I haven't played that or even seen it, so I can't.
I haven't looked too much into that. It might be, but when I saw the gameplay footage, and I have the virtual ticket. Mm-hmm. I bought that, so I've been watching like Q&As and just them, like the guys getting on stage and talking more about the game. Like this seems like a Diablo game. Like it plays like a Diablo game. I think there's 6 classes. Like they play differently from Diablo 3 too. Like all the abilities look interesting. It doesn't look like graphically like Diablo 3. Like it's a little dumbed down in terms of that because it's a phone, but even on like the new phones, like it's running really well. And there's going to be like a full-fledged story that takes place between 2 and 3. I think it looks like an interesting game. Like I don't really get too excited about mobile games, but
dude,
it's something
you play mobile games, bro. You're a mobile gamer through and through.
Hey, I put down Hogwarts Mystery. Okay.
Yeah, Hogwarts Mystery and that Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes you
I'm
played.
I'm so glad I don't
play that. I'm surprised you didn't
that.
shit your pants when this was announced.
I hated that game. That's my thing with like most mobile games. I'll play them, but I hate them at the same time. It's just something to keep me occupied.
Yeah, I don't enjoy the touch controls on mobile games.
They say
typically.
It's like really intuitive, and it's in the very tiny bottom of the screen, so it's like not your way. Mm-hmm. And your abilities are on like you know how you hold your phone, like and what is this, landscape mode? Mm-hmm. Like it's like down here at the very corner, and then your abilities are like right here. Yeah. So you have this, like, especially on like the new iPhones, you have a massive screen.
Totally.
So I'm excited. You might be able to play it on an iPad too.
Yeah, I'm definitely open to playing it. I don't know how much I would play it, even having it.
I mean, obviously, I think it's there. It might come out next year. I don't know. They're the way they talked about it, they're still developing a lot of the systems in the game, like in terms of gearing and stuff. But just like what they showed in terms of combat, and there's going to be like 8 playable zones. Yeah. Some of them we've never been to. And there's like 4 or 5 player dungeons. And basically, they're like dungeons that would be in Diablo 3. So there's like crafted boss battles at the end of them. And, just random loot scattered everywhere. There's going to be legendary gear. It sounds like a Diablo game. And, I've been itching for that kind of experience lately. So I'm excited to just learn more about it and check it out.
Yeah.
It seems like there's going to be like an early access kind of beta. So we'll see what happens.
Now, I'm not an executive in the games industry or a publisher of any sort, so I can't totally attest to their thought process. But from a business standpoint, it makes sense to me as to why they'd want to implement this. 1, because Diablo is a very popular franchise. And 2, even though it's a joke that everyone's, not really a joke, but a criticism everyone's throwing around to that developer when he's like, do you guys not have phones? But I know he's being sarcastic in that moment, but the guy has a point. I mean, everyone has phones, and a lot of people inevitably will play this. So from a business perspective, I totally get why.
I don't know if this was I think this was the place to announce it. I don't think it was like, they should have probably said something about Diablo 4 maybe. Because these are hardcore Blizzard PC, like these are PC gamers that love Blizzard games. Yeah. Of course they're going to get pissed off that there's not.
I understand the backlash too. To an extent, I totally understand it. Yeah. It is hilarious, dude. The amount of dislikes versus likes on both the cinematic reveal trailer and the gameplay trailer is ridiculous.
But I felt really bad because I watched, because during the Q&A, a guy literally came up to the mic and asked, "Is this an April Fool's joke?" Yeah. And there were 3 guys on stage, and they were like, "Oh my god, this is happening." Yeah. I felt so bad for them. Because you could just tell how uncomfortable they were. Yeah. And these are their people. Like BlizzCon, like they always talk about how BlizzCon's like a family. Like, everyone that loves Blizzard games goes to BlizzCon. It was just interesting seeing like hostility within their own convention.
Right.
It's just a strange experience.
Yeah.
But I mean, I share some of those sentiments. Like, obviously, I want a new Diablo. Like,
right. Yeah.
I don't want a mobile game.
Mhm.
Like, of course, I want the actual PC game.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see what they can do with this mobile Diablo game.
Mhm. I mean, like I said,
And like they have different teams. Like, this isn't. I don't think this is taking away from their development on Diablo 4. Because, I mean, if you look from like Diablo 2 to Diablo 3, it took like 8 to 10 years to make that game.
yeah, they said there are multiple teams. Yeah,
Yeah.
they said there's a team working on Immortal.
These games don't
another
just get
working
like
on 4.
pushed out like every year, like a Call of Duty.
I will say, if I was assigned to the team to do Immortal instead of 4, I'd be really bummed.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm going to try this because I like Diablo. I mean, at least of what I've played of Diablo 3. So I'll try it, but I can't imagine myself investing more than like an hour into it because I just don't play unless it really hooks me. I mean, I'm not just going to pick up my phone and like at my house and be like, I'm going to play some Immortal on my phone when I have this killer PC and a PS4 Pro and a footstool to play.
That's fair.
So,
but I think it looks fun, honestly.
Yeah, it looks cool. I look forward to hearing people's impressions after they played it a bit more and seeing how it's going.
Yep.
So, unfortunately, I would like to dwell on this topic a bit more, but we are very, very close to running out of time.
Yep, sorry, I talked too much.
No, it's good. I wish we could spend more time in that, but unfortunately, we are crunching as usual because I have to go to work, and I'm already going to be late. So, let's jump into community questions, if that's cool with you guys. You still there, Preston? I don't know if Preston's still there.
He might not be here.
I think he left. I'm still on Skype with him. I don't know what he's doing.
Maybe he's taking a pee break.
Perhaps. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your continued support of this podcast, supplying us with community questions week in and week out to fuel the latter half of this podcast, and we can answer your interesting questions that really spice up the conversation here. So we appreciate it, as always, for you taking the time to do so. If you want your questions read on this show or Ask IOG publicly, you can reach us in one. Here's Preston. I guess the call dropped. Hey, man, you there?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I don't know what happened. I was talking to you, but it
okay.
You couldn't hear me for some reason. So you might have to cut out me saying hello, are you there? But
okay.
Anyways, sorry about that.
Yeah, it's all good. I lost my train of thought there. Okay, if you want to reach us, or if you want your questions around the show, you can reach us in one of 3 places. You can email us at ItsObviousGaming@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at obvious_gaming, or submit your questions in the Ask IOG section of our Discord channel, and always include the hashtag AskIOG if you want your question read publicly. And all of that information can be accessed in the description of any of the video versions of our podcast on YouTube or on, I guess that's the only place. The description of any podcast service you're using. Sorry, I haven't done this in a while. My brain's all over the place. I have like 6,000 things to do.
You nailed it.
Yeah. I feel like there's something I really needed to say, and I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, Ask IOG. I apologize. We had mentioned we were going to try to do Ask IOG bi-weekly at the very least, and this past Thursday we were going to have an episode, but again, I literally couldn't speak. I was so sick, so we had to cancel it, unfortunately. But I think we can probably do it this Thursday. Are you available Thursday night, Jacob?
You sure you want to promise that?
I'm available Thursday night if you are.
You're free Thursday night.
I am.
I should be too.
Okay.
So we'll do it.
All right. Yeah, Ask IOG coming this Friday. Back at you, brah. Anyway, let's jump into the first one. It comes from Elite Gaming Battles regarding the HDR on Red Dead Redemption 2. He says, I'm playing Xbox One X KS 8000 4K, and it took me forever to get the HDR right, playing at 240 in the game HDR setting. It still looks a little blurry and lighting seems slightly off. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing a lot of these complaints on message boards. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think HDR is implemented poorly?
I mean, I'm not the one to ask about this because I'm playing base PS4.
Right.
So.
Based on what I've read and seen, I don't think HDR is actually HDR in the game.
Yeah, it's kind of like a fake version.
Yeah, it's fake HDR. I turned it off on PS4 Pro because it looked way blurrier with HDR on. So I played with it on for about an hour and ended up turning it off, and it looked significantly better.
Yeah. I think Digital Foundry does a really good job comparing all the versions of the game. It's interesting how Xbox One X obviously looks vastly superior to PS4 Pro, but it has more glitches than PS4 Pro. I've seen so many glitches from the Xbox version, whereas PS4 Pro I've encountered maybe 4, which is amazing considering how big the game is.
Guess we know which one's better.
Yeah.
That's what's interesting is how all the different versions are different in many ways. Whether one's glitchier or one looks better, it's interesting. Yeah. So, Yeah, they're very varied as far as the versions are
I am envious of all those people playing on the Xbox One X.
Oh, yeah, me too, man. I'd love to like I said, I haven't really played it for pleasure yet. If I had a One X, I'd totally replay it on that and enjoy it at that point. But
I'm not really envious, though, because it's a footstool. Right?
It is
like,
a footstool.
Who are we kidding? Right?
It's a very beautiful footstool.
Yeah, the main thing I would love to play on the X with is the frame rate. Looks like it's super locked at 30 on the X, whereas it's not bad on PS4 by any means, but especially like once you enter Saint Denis or some towns, I think as Digital Foundry showed, it drops to like 27 or 28, and it's a little bit noticeable. But like I said, the game is so slow paced, and it's not like you don't have to be like lightning quick reflexes or anything. It doesn't necessarily affect the game, too bad with it dropping very rarely.
I will say that I have had some frame drops on the standard PS4, but it's not like it's ruining my experience.
It is, even on the PlayStation, even though it's not native. I believe it uses like a dynamic resolution at like or whatever. I'm not exactly sure the full resolution. It is still an absolutely gorgeous game.
Yes,
agreed. Next one comes from Jay Scriber, or Josh Scriber. Excuse me, Jay. Josh. So out of it. Josh says, "Hey guys, hope you all got to play another good portion of Red Dead this passing week. Mm-hmm. What is a game that when released, seemingly everyone loved the game, but you absolutely hated it for whatever reason? Mine would be the release of Sonic Riders for PS2. I was in 6th grade, so a lot of kids around me were talking about it. How could they go crazy over a game with such clunky controls? Now, don't get me wrong, I sucked hard at the game, but that had nothing to do with my quarrel with Sonic Riders."
Sonic Riders. What a trip down memory lane. Yeah, I hated that game as well. I forced myself into thinking I liked it, but it was so bad. Such a hard game, dude. Like, I remember getting through the story mode of that game was just absolutely brutal. Having to replay every race like 30 times, it felt like, to even place to move the story forward. I remember there were these sections where you would get in these weird quick time event modes where you would have to like twirl the stick at like 1,000,000 miles an hour to, go faster. And was not a big fan of that game.
I don't hate a lot of games, but just in terms of disliking a game that everyone else loved, I don't really have any examples. I typically agree with the mass.
Think for yourself, Jacob.
I know I'm such a God. Yeah, I have nothing. Garrett, what about you?
I don't think I've ever hated a game that everyone else loved.
Mm-hmm.
So I've definitely disliked games more than other people have loved. Like I've never really gotten that into Destiny. So I've never hated a game.
Like I don't like Fallout 4 as much as other people, but a lot of people don't like Fallout 4. So.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
It wasn't like a Fallout 3 where it was like universally loved.
Yeah, the closest thing I can relate to, I think, is Destiny for me.
Okay.
So next one comes from, I'm going to be so late to work, Bear Commando. They ask, Kirby or Pikachu, who's the best?
Pikachu.
I'm going Pikachu on that too. I mean, Kirby's cool because
Kirby's stupid.
He can consume people and become whatever. Kirby's the one who becomes whatever he inhales, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
pretty cool.
Kirby's better. I think that's.
Yeah. I think now that I think about it, I think Kirby may be better because he can just become Pikachu essentially.
Yep.
Kirby also survives in the Smash trailer. He's the only one that survives at the end.
Yeah. So I think Pikachu. I think Kirby's pretty adorable too, but Pikachu's really cute.
Yeah, Pikachu.
I would say I would say Pikachu's cuter if Pikachu's a girl, right?
It can be either.
Okay.
The one in the show.
When Pikachu
male.
spoke in whatever movie that was, when she talks to Ash, that was fucked up. So
you mean like the detective Pikachu?
No. It's like I can't remember what movie it is, but Ash is like
it's the
dying
one that's in
or
like
something.
theaters. Like
yeah,
now.
I mean the first movie.
No,
there's a lot of Pokemon movies.
I don't even know if it's out.
I gotta
yet.
show you. I gotta show you this, dude. Hold on.
Oh, I didn't watch the newest
Show
one.
him after the podcast.
Pikachu talks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible.
I don't want to watch.
So I think I'm gonna go with Kirby on this. He can become, or Kirby's a girl too. I think Kirby can become anything she wants to. I will call it an it.
I don't think Kirby has
it can become
sex.
anything it wants, and it's probably cuter because it doesn't talk like Pikachu did.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what gender Kirby is.
Does Kirby talk?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I've never played a Kirby game. I'm not scared to admit that.
I played.
I almost picked up Star Allies, but
Kirby's Dream Land, I believe, on the Game Boy Color. That's the only one I've played.
Squishy wrote in about Red Dead, but I think it just might be slightly spoilery. Because some people may not have any idea of what Squishy says in Ask IOG here. So I'm going to save that for another week, and then we'll talk about that one.
Is that in the Discord?
Hazard says, what'd you say, Preston?
Is that one out of Discord?
Yeah.
I'm going to read it.
Hazard says, if you were stranded on an island with Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark, who would you side with for survival?
Oh my God, that's tough.
I have an answer to this. I'm going to go with Batman because I'm going to go with Tony Stark because I think Tony Stark has a more entertaining personality. And I think both Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne are almost equals in every way. I think Bruce Wayne is physically more, physically stronger than Tony Stark. Plus he has great combat skills even out of his costume, whereas Tony Stark is really only powerful in the Iron Man suit. So they both, I think, they have an equal amount of intelligence. So I think
wonder who would be smarter.
I think survival. I'm going to hop back to Bruce Wayne because physically as well as intellectually, I think he's stronger than.
You just like big beefy men.
Of course I do.
I trust Tony Stark to get me off the island more than Bruce Wayne. I think
I would go with Tony.
I think Tony Stark could craft some sort of like coconut helicopter to get us off the island.
That's true.
He would make something out of coconut that I could put in my chest.
I mean, he made a freaking Iron Man suit in a freaking jail cell.
Yeah, out of in a cave.
Yeah. So I trust.
He also had access to like.
But I think Bruce Wayne could protect you from like a cougar or something that tried to attack you, whereas Tony Stark would probably be eaten alive before he could even finish the helicopter to escape.
Yeah. I don't know. You can't go wrong with either one.
If they're both on the island,
Bruce
why do
Wayne's,
I have to decide? Why can't we?
This is survival. It doesn't necessarily say escape. This is just survival. So I'm gonna go with Bruce Wayne on this.
If it's survival, I don't know, but Tony Stark
the dangers
could
of the jungle, and the island.
Give Tony Stark a year on an island. I feel like he can make some sort of like metropolis.
Yeah, he probably could.
So, I'm going with Tony.
I'm gonna go with Batman.
Tony.
Yeah, I go with Tony.
Let's see. This one comes from Sam Harris. It'll be the big finale this week. Sam says, "Hey, you filthy varmints! I gotta say, Red Dead 2 has been a breath of fresh sarsaparilla and a shot of whiskey to the bones. My gaming bones. I really like these games that take place in a fictional historical world. If you could pick an era of history to set a game in, what would it be and why? Now get along, little doggies, and ride into the sunset. Y'all got a train to rob. Yeehaw!" Well, I love the Victorian era of London, so I got that in Vampire, and I was very satisfied. So I can't say that. We technically have a similar in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Maybe something based in the 30s or something, or the 40s, like World War II era. Like maybe a noir detective game. Maybe like the next LA Noir would be awesome if it was based in like the 40s or something. Versus, I think it was like the 50s. Was it the 50s in LA Noir?
I can't even remember.
Maybe go back to like the 20s or the 30s and have like a follow up to LA Noir and an actual noir setting, like film noir.
So we're just talking about like settings. Like,
I want
times and
time periods. I want an open world feudal Japan, like ancient Japan.
Is it Japan in Ghost of Tsushima, or is it China? I think it's Japan.
I don't know, but if that is, then that's fine. I want that.
That's pretty much what we're getting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've also always wanted. Well, we're getting an open world Star Wars game, so that's not really a historical era, though.
Yeah, dude.
No, Star Wars happened.
Yeah, it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Yeah. So
that's true.
What is one more thing I'd like to see? Oh, we're getting cyberpunk in a futuristic setting, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, I got my Victorian era London.
Yeah, for me, it'd be something like space travel or something like that.
And we of course we have the Wild West. We have medieval stuff. So I think
I really like the idea.
We've really gotten every time period you can think of, to an extent. Like even more recently with Kingdom Come Deliverance was a very realized version of that setting. Mm-hmm. So maybe I've seen everything I want to see, other than maybe like a 1920s to 30s LA noir setting. It'd be cool. Yeah. Not even maybe like New York or something.
Maybe something taking place in the 80s or the 70s. You know, I don't know. I don't know what kind of game I would want, but those are interesting time periods in America, at least. Doesn't
one of the Grand Theft Autos take place in the 80s?
Vice
City.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I think when does San Andreas take place?
I think that was supposed to be modern day.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken. So, Yeah, I think that's my answer. It's like a noir 1930 setting in New York or something.
Okay.
That's me, dude. Totally cool.
Is that the last one?
That was the last one. I'm going to be very late to work, so we got to skedaddle.
Let's do it.
I was going to let Preston kind of sign us out here.
Yeah, thanks thanks for joining us for this podcast, guys. Please subscribe to the channel over at youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming. Subscribe to the podcast over at the Apple Podcasting app and also leave us a review there. We would greatly appreciate it. Please check the description down below for links to all our social media pages, anything you would ever need to get in contact with us. And be sure to check this video out at youtube.com/ItsObviousGaming and give it a like. Or not like a thumbs up, comment down below. If you're listening to this anywhere else, that would help us out tremendously getting this video out. The thumbs up stuff definitely helps us in YouTube a ton to get in their algorithm for more people to find us. So if you would just take 5 seconds to do that for this video, we would greatly appreciate that. But I think that'll do it for this week. Gentlemen, I've thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. I very much look forward to the future of playing Fallout 76, especially with you, Garrett, and playing Red Dead Online with everybody. That is a very exciting future that we have ahead of us. And of course, doing more podcasts.
Yeah.
Agreed, dude. I look forward to the next one. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you on Ask IOG this Friday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.